Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Elite City Podcast. It's the OG crowd once again. Before we get started, don't forget, like, subscribe, share. We're at Elite City Pod on all social media. And tonight, we're going to go over the awesome MJF Ospreay international title match, which, spoiler, was awesome. The TBS Championship match, glamorous Mariah May and her promo, and the champion versus champion, Swerve versus Okada, and the preview of Blood and Guts, and possibly somebody's return. So stay tuned.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, a lot going on. I totally forgot Blood and Guts was next week. Like, I was so pumped for Dynamite 250. And that's another thing. It was the 250th episode. We didn't even mention that. I was so pumped for that. And then the show started and they were like, oh, next week. And I was like, that's not next week. That's in like 3 weeks. I was like, nope, it's next week.
Yeah, I get it. I do feel like, I don't know. I feel like Blood and Guts should be a different time.
Yeah. But like, I do get it. It's the 1 month that it's Ring of Honor's big pay-per-view.
Right. I get it. Cause that's the 1 month, no pay-per-view. It makes sense.
Right.
But I kind of like, they have like the Owen tournament that just ended. And then they have the run up to All In. And you would like, I feel like Blood and Guts, it feels like, I don't know. I'm excited for the match. I think it doesn't feel like it fits in here.
Yeah, I could see that. Oh, it's gonna be,
but it's gonna be fun. Like I'm gonna enjoy it.
It's always fun. There has not been a bad one.
No.
And it's gonna be good. Anyways, what were your thoughts on the whole presentation of Dynamite 250?
It was good. I like that they made it feel special. They made it feel important. The one thing with more pay-per-views I miss is the Dynamites that have themes to them. There used to be a lot more of them.
Yes.
So I like that they did that with this one. I like when they used to have like Winter's Coming and then like what else did they have?
Oh, there were so many there for a while. Tony was on Beach Break,
and yeah, there was a whole bunch. There was for everything. I like them. I like when they do them. So I thought it was fun.
Yeah, so did I. Somebody pointed out on the interwebs, like this was kind of a like pay-per-view light. Like every match was pay-per-view quality, but there were only a few matches because obviously, but there it was. I mean, the opening match was an Iron Man match. I mean,
yeah, and I like that. I mean, the match was long, which was good. Like I'm not against it. I liked it. But I actually liked that they only had a few matches. When they announced the card, you felt like it was going to be, they announced 4 matches, but they're going to book like 3 other matches for the show that are going to be kind of just matches. So I actually kind of liked the longer. I don't think they should do it every week, but I liked it.
Yeah, and I liked how it wasn't even like mentioned. Like, I'm going to take you to the limit. I'm going to, it was just. It was just
kind of
naturally.
You could tell it was going to go an hour as soon as they mentioned the time. As soon as I think like Tony Schiavone was like, "We're at 46 minutes." I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is going to go to an hour." Because the matches that go to like an hour long draw, they don't mention the time.
Right. Now, just before we get into the specifics, what were your initial thoughts on the ending?
I was surprised. I did get slightly spoiled because I watched it late. I got slightly spoiled. Like with 5 minutes left, I found out what happened, but I was still surprised. Like I was very surprised. I didn't think that. I thought it was going to be like a disqualification or a 60-minute draw. When it started getting long, I was like, oh, they're going to do a 60-minute draw.
Same. I was at first. My initial reaction was it shouldn't have ended with 2 seconds to go because it kind of killed the crowd. Because the crowd they kind of wanted the draw, I think, too.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
But in the grand scheme of things, it makes Max that much more of a scumbag. Because you think about it, he said, I'm not going to give you guys what you want.
Right.
And everybody wanted the time limit draw and then the rematch. So, like, that all played into all that. So
yeah, that's true. I liked it. I like MJF as the international champion because this is kind of now like, it's not like a world title, but it's very close to a world title. I think it's what they wanted. Remember when Cody had the TNT title and was like, this is going to be not a secondary title. It's going to be like another top title. It never really turned out like that.
Yeah.
but the international title now has kind of turned into that. Like it is
true.
Ospreay's had it, now MJF had it, and Mox had it, Orange Cassidy. Like those are main event guys. It's a main event belt. So I like it. I have like tiny nitpicks with the match, but it was a very good match overall. I enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah. First and foremost, the pace that these guys went for, like, you would have never guessed if you put this on, and at the pace that they went for the first 25 minutes, like, there's no way they're going an hour because they're going to be gassed. And they went another 25 minutes at that pace. I
also liked that it felt tiring and not in a bad, like, yes. not a bad way, but like you could feel like they were not tired, like in storyline, I meant. Like,
yeah.
You could feel like this was a tough match that they were going through. And like their moves got a bit less flashy or a bit less crisp by the end, just because I don't think the wrestlers were tired. I think, like, obviously they're both in great shape, and Max has done hour-long matches before. But they made it seem like, oh, they're wiped out. Like anything could end this match now because both of these guys are so like beaten up, and it felt like a grueling experience that they both went through, which was good.
Yes. And they did take the crowd for a ride. I mean, that crowd literally was the fourth man,
Yeah.
The crowd was great.
My tiny nitpick that I mentioned is at the, I don't know, 20 minutes in, 15 minutes in, Max went after Ospreay's knee, and Taz even mentioned it on commentary, being like, why is he not going back to the knee? He hurt his knee. I felt it was weird that like he hit his knee. Ospreay did a good job selling the knee. Like it looked like he was actually hurt. And then Max just like moved on and was like, I'm going to do other moves. I would have liked if he spent more time like on his knee, and then that could have been like the story of the match. Like Ospreay can't do the moves that he wants, but like by 25 minutes they forgot about the knee injury, which I get. It's a long match,
right? But
that was my only, and I still thought it was a great match. I enjoyed it a lot.
How awesome was Ospreay? Speaking of selling the shoulder, the one time on my end, right before they were going to pitcher in pitcher, like the ref went over to him and you hear him say, my shoulder's out.
Yeah.
And then they went to commercial.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, his shoulder must really be out. Like, he wouldn't be saying that, in storyline.
Yeah, it was good. I thought at first I thought he was actually hurt for sure.
Right. Same here.
Now, is Doc Samson, like, is he a doctor? Like he's an actual doctor, right?
Yes.
But he also plays a role on the show. Like he wasn't.
Correct.
He was acting in that role.
Correct. Yes.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
It was good. I like that.
I liked it too because, and I'm not wishing anybody to get hurt. I'm not wishing Doc Samson to ever have to be right there, but there is going to be a time when somebody is really injured, and AEW has now pulled off a actual good injury angle a couple times now, that it might, like, if someone's really hurt, I don't want people to think that they could I like overlook it. Like, they're, you know what I mean? And then like, their legs mangled.
Like Buddy Matthews has done a good job of like selling some injuries a few times now. Danielson actually does a pretty bad job of selling injuries. He always sells an injury, and now I'm just like, he's not actually hurt.
Yeah.
I think he does it too often, where now I'm just like, he's not actually hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's always like, oh, my neck, my shoulder.
Yeah. But I guess there was that one time that Hangman actually got knocked out in the match against Mox, and that felt different. Like they cut away, they didn't show it on camera. Yeah. So I guess that's what they would do if it was a real injury. But there was that one time Mox got knocked out against Ray Phoenix, and they just did nothing. So who knows?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's when Ray Phoenix became. Speaking of international champions.
Yeah. I like what they're doing with the international. Do you think that this is going to be an all-in match? Are they doing a rematch at all-in between Max and Ospreay?
It has to be a three-way, right? With Daniel Garcia. That's what I was just going to say.
That's true. Yeah, that makes sense.
Now that you've put, like, not you, but now that AEW has put it in the, put it out in the air, do we get a three-way Iron Man match?
Oh, that'd be fun. I've never seen that.
I've never seen that either.
You could do it. Why not? It'd be fun. Yeah, I like it.
Same.
I don't know if they could do that at All In, because All In, I don't think they could do an hour at All In, because they probably
that's true too.
They probably don't have like 10 matches on the card. But I don't know.
True.
But I like the idea.
That's true. Same here. Well, if you don't do if you don't do an Iron Man match, do you do the 3-way?
Yeah. Now that you mentioned it, I forgot about Daniel Garcia, but now that you mention it, that makes perfect sense.
And here's my final thing. Do you make it elimination and have Max pin first?
I would hope so. I kind of miss elimination 3-way matches. I like them better.
Same. And like having the champion pinned, like when ECW did that, like when Taz signed with WWF, and everybody was like, oh, this is, they're going to go at the end and like Taz isn't going to take the pin. And, I think it was Mike Awesome was going to win the belt. But no, the Sandman and Mike Awesome just beat up Taz and they both pinned him and the place went bananas.
Yeah, Paul Heyman was always a big proponent of that because then you immediately know there's going to be a new champion. So everyone's already more excited.
Right.
Yeah. I don't like the trope of a 3-way match where like the champion isn't the one who gets pinned. I get why they do it, but I don't like it because it happens all the time.
Right. Yeah, that should be the anomaly when the champion doesn't get pinned.
Yeah.
Like, and then obviously you have a whole embedded storyline right there,
Yeah.
Oh.
I also really liked when Ospreay called that kid over to hit Max. That was fun.
That was amazing. I think
forget who it was on commentary being like, I hope that kid signed a waiver. You could tell, like, I think Tony Schiavone was just like, no, we could actually get sued for this. Let's be. I think it was Taz and Excalibur were like, yeah, get her. And Tony Schiavone was being like, no, be careful, guys. Like, just be careful.
Oh, that was so fun. Oh, I was going to say something about that and I can't remember now. What when that happened, do you think Max should have sold it more? I was trying to be nice. Like, I don't want to say he sold the little kid, but do you think he should have like jumped up in the air and like?
Yeah, it's tough because like, does it take you out of it for him selling for a little kid?
Right.
Maybe, but in the same sense, like that would be really cool for the kid.
Yeah,
and the crowd would have loved it. Yeah, he probably should have. Oversold it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like did the whole like took 3 steps and then fell over.
Yeah,
and then,
that would have been fun. Yeah.
Like I said, in the moment I was like, oh, that was awesome, but it would have been better.
Right.
Like,
I think my favorite part though was when he was on the outside of the ring being like, I'm the smartest wrestler, and then he immediately got knocked in the back of that. Like just even the camera shot where they managed it, you couldn't see Ospreay till he hit him.
Yeah,
that was really cool. That was fun. I like that a lot.
That was
it was awesome. A well shot match. Like the camera work.
Yes,
was good.
Was. And which I hope I never see again because it looked very painful, was the Styles Clash on the apron.
Yeah,
that never needs to happen again.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So what do you think of this Ospreay? I'm not going to do the Tiger Driver thing.
I mean, it's obviously setting up him doing the Tiger Driver to turn heel. Or to like vindicate like
someone does really horrible horrible to him and that's his payback. But I don't.
Oh man, I just had a good idea.
I don't like don't like the acting of it where he's just like, oh, and like acts conflicted. I feel like he's overacting. I don't love it. And I saw people being like, oh, but Danielson didn't get hurt in the Tiger Driver, so why is he so hesitant to do it? I get that they should explain that more. That like it's not that Danielson got hurt and now he won't do it again. It's that he's thinking that someone could get hurt.
Right.
But yeah, his overacting isn't great. I like the idea, but I don't like his like, oh, and he makes like a face and then like I don't know. I don't like that.
Yeah. I agree. But what brings it to, I want to see him give it to Don Callis though, and that's how I want him to leave the Don Callis.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. I would like that.
Yeah, if he just gave
people go nuts.
Oh, like yeah, if you just like tripped on Callis, people would go nuts. As we alluded to earlier, Max gets the win with 2 seconds left and shenanigans with the ring. Is this the year that he loses the ring? And again, I know I'm the only person that cares about this. Someone else needs to win that thing to make it semi-relevant now.
Yeah, or they have to stop it and just like it's his ring that he has.
That works too.
Because having it be a thing every year that people go after and somehow he wins it every year. Yeah, it's what has it been like 5 years now?
Yeah, literally, he's the only person that's ever had it.
Yeah. Either they just have it as his ring, and this is the ring that he wears from now on, or someone else has to win it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm the only person that cares about that thing because they bring it up every October. And I know when the tournament is.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, when do they normally have it? I have no idea.
It's usually in October.
All right.
And I think it initially was didn't Dynamite debut in October, or did it debut in September?
I think it was September.
Okay.
Wasn't it a Winter is Coming thing one year, though? I think they moved it one year.
Yeah, they did move it one year to Winners. Oh, yeah, that was it was right after we started the podcast because I was all worried about it. Like, they had that stupid ring. Yeah, that's how the joke started.
Yeah, I think that was the Ricky Starks year, the year Ricky challenged for it.
Yeah.
Remember Ricky Starks? He used to wrestle in AEW.
Yeah. He's been on a big vacay. And so is Sammy Guevara. But Sammy's rumored to come back.
Yeah, I've heard he's rumored to come back. I feel like Ricky's on his way out, but
I don't know. Like, has anybody got a definitive contract thing though?
No.
That's what I mean. So. Like,
yeah,
he could have like 2.5 years left. Like,
yeah, nobody knows.
Now, if Tony would keep him around for 2.5 years and not put him on TV, that's just dumb.
Yeah.
The disconnect there, I don't understand. I'm a big fan of Ricky Starks. I love his work, but I don't get why he just always he said it in that one promo. Every time he takes 2 steps forward, he then takes 10 back.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember, like, it's weird because Tony Khan was doing an interview like a few months ago, and someone asked him about Ricky Starks, and he was like, "Oh, I'd love to have Ricky Starks back on TV." And people were like, "But you run the show. Can't you just put him on TV?" Like, yeah. It was a weird comment to make because he still works there. You could put him on TV tomorrow if he wanted to. Like, it was weird. So I don't know what's going on there.
Now at this point, I doubt that it's some weird storyline thing. But even if it was some weird storyline thing, you're starting to get into that realm of people forget that you even work there.
Yeah.
Yes.
If he never showed up again and it just faded away, like, I would not think about it. I don't think at this point.
Right. Now, as far as we know, there might have been a surgery that he had for, you know what I mean? Like, it could have been a minor injury or sports hernia surgery or something that they just kept under wraps. And, AEW or Tony Khan or maybe even Ricky himself just said, "Hey, let's just play it up." Like, we really don't know.
I mean, like everyone thought Britt Baker was just not on TV, and it turned out she had like a serious medical problem.
Right.
They just didn't tell anyone. So it clearly could be.
And, like a Ricky, not that you're listening, but if you are by chance, I hope you're okay, man. Like, no disrespect.
He did say he's cleared, but he's also a wrestler, so they lie all the time. So you have no idea if he actually is cleared.
Right. And like I said, they could have, not that everything's a work, but it could semi be a work to keep it like him relevant, but like, oh, I'm angry. You know what I mean? Like, his name's still being tossed around.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, he needs to be on TV though. If he's going to come back. I get if he has like 3 months left. Right.
Fine. Just like let him sit it out. But yeah, if he has years left, either let him go or bring him back.
Yeah.
Been long enough now.
Yes.
Miro too. Remember him?
Well, didn't Miro, it was same with Keith Lee, but didn't Miro and Keith Lee have surgeries?
I think Miro did, but I don't remember when it was or what it was. But I know he had something.
And I think Keith Lee did too.
Yeah, Keith Lee has had some health issues.
Yeah. Wow, I forgot. Like, it's weird. You just start naming these people that are like legit contenders that or just haven't been on TV in ages.
It is weird.
An odd time.
And like, I said this at the time when it happened. People were like, "Oh, if Tony Khan wasn't going to use these people, why would he hire them?" Like, well, because he didn't expect WWE to lay off like half their staff, right? You didn't expect, Malachi Black and Keith Lee and whoever to suddenly become available. So like, yeah, he didn't expect. Of course, if they're available, and he stopped that. Like, now the last set of releases WWE had, he didn't really hire any of them. So like, he understands, but just at the time when it happened, what were you going to do? Say no to all these people? No, of course you're not. So it's a weird situation.
Yeah. And I mean, I think you've even used the analogy back when we were talking about this is like, why wouldn't you just sign them all and all you have to say is XWWE and you get at least somebody to pay attention. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah. Because they're known names versus like an indie wrestler who might be just as talented, but nobody knows who they are.
Right. And again, we understand we're the niche company, but you do want to flag some of those other people down every now and again. And I think Mercedes is doing that. I mean, AEW is hot right now.
Yes. The shows have been great.
Yeah. And well, we'll just segue right into
it was a good segue. Nice job.
Thank you. I didn't even realize it was all by accident, and you can leave that in because it was a great match between Mercedes and Nyla, and I think we're getting funny babyface Nyla.
I hope so.
She showed some little slivers in that match.
I liked seeing Nyla. I wish Nyla was on more. Like Nyla's funny and like she's really funny. She's hilarious. I know that there's only so much like we're talking about how there's people who aren't on TV ever. And I know that there's only so much time, and I think she's done some stuff in Ring of Honor.
Yes, but, she has been.
Like I would like to see her on TV because she's entertaining. She's funny. She's a good wrestler. Like I would like to see her on all the time.
100%. I don't want to say it killed her, but making her at the time the women's division needed a heel. So obviously if they ask you to do it, you do it. But I don't want to say it was the wrong choice because I mean, she was a great heel, but she's so much better just naturally being funny.
Yeah, I get why they did it because she's big and imposing and strong. And like, if you're going to have someone be a heel, you want like the big imposing person who can throw people around.
Absolutely.
And it makes sense to make her heel. But like, she's just so funny that she should be a face because she's like, if you just let her talk, she's hilarious.
And now that the women's division is rocking, there's a little more room for that. You don't need to, there's not just 10 girls and you fill this role and you fill that role. It's like, no, there's a whole division.
Yeah. They can be more flexible with it. She can do other. Yeah. She doesn't have to just be like monster heel. She could be like something else. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, this match it proved her skill level. It proved everything. If there were any Nyla haters out there, she proved all y'all wrong.
Yeah. Because, and here Mercedes has been great too.
Oh yeah. And, this is what I was getting at earlier. Mercedes is bringing in I don't want to say all WWE people, but she's putting a spotlight on AEW. I mean, to the point of our numbers are going up again. Like we're starting to get CM Punk bump numbers. That was a tongue twister with Mercedes now.
I like that she's the TBS champion too. They didn't immediately throw her in a world title.
Yes. Yeah. And she's just so good. Like,
now, do you think she's going to be like, she's already kind of involved in the Elite. Is she going to join the Elite?
I think she has to, just because she's so good as a heel. And
now they're doing like the Elite mentioned, like, oh, we're all going to have titles except for the world title. Like maybe now they want another title. So maybe, let's bring in the TBS champion because we want another title in our group.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That'd be fun. Yeah. And it would work. Like she gets
totally
like she works on camera with them. Like it flows nicely.
Yeah. And it's just her as a heel is so good. Like I'm glad she had the little run as a baby face at the beginning, but I just want her to go like dark.
Yeah, you kind of had to make her a face at the beginning because people are going to cheer her just because she showed up. Like people are going to be excited that she was here.
Yeah,
but she is like I said before, she wrestles as a face more. Like she's like you feel for her because she's kind of small and she gets thrown around and she sells really well. But like her personality, she does such a better job. Is it not that she's a bad face, but she does such a better job of just being like a cocky, full of yourself heel.
Yeah, and I don't want to say, excuse me, I don't want to say being a heel would be easier, but it's way easier to just go out there and insult people, like, than it would be to try to get people to like you. Like you go out and make fun of the city, make fun of the sports teams.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
It's really hard to get over as a face on mic work.
Yes.
You have to be like very good at it. And not to say that she's not good, but she's not very, very good.
Exactly. And they would always try to put her in like huge talking segments, like at the beginning. Like, again, I get it. And
yeah,
the
people
whole,
wanted
like,
to see her, and I think she wasn't cleared, so I get it. But
yeah, and
it didn't really work.
I agreed. Like, it worked because of who she was.
And people were just excited that she
and
was
people
there.
were excited.
Yeah.
But if that would have been anybody else, yeah, that could have fell flatter than pancake.
Yeah.
But
now she's doing great.
Yeah, like now, she's found her swing. She's found her groove here. Do you think she had any adjustment? We'll say the word adjustment. Do you think she had any adjustment going from like pretty much everything being scripted to no, okay, go ahead, Mercedes, you're allowed to do whatever you want?
Yeah, I heard someone say online somewhere on Reddit or something, and I think it's true that she's the only person who somehow sounded more scripted without a script.
True.
Like when she talks in catchphrases, and I think she learned to talk in catchphrases. Like she learned how to cut promos from WWE, I'm assuming. So I don't blame her for it. And I get as a heel, the catchphrases work because now she's just being annoying, right? But like everything she says is a catchphrase, it works. It didn't really work as a face. And yeah, there was probably some sort of adjustment there because it's a different style of promo in AEW than it would be in WWE for sure.
Yeah, like, you don't realize, like, I remember when I was reading Mox's book, like someone handed him a script for a promo before Raw or something. And he was like, I crumbled it up and threw it on the floor. And they came over and they were like, well, you better at least hit these points. And he looked at him and he was like, oh, okay, I can do that. Now, if I have the points, like I could see how that would be easier. Like, hit these bullet points.
Yeah, I understand the bullet points because obviously if you're booking the show, you want to get a certain story across. I get that. Like bullet points make perfect sense. And the reason they went to the scripted promos is because they were worried that like, if we just let people say stuff, they might say something that is wrong. I even kind of get it, but I think that you have to, even for WWE's sake, you have to start people off maybe on scripted promos if they haven't done them before. Like some wrestlers just were in the indies, right? They don't really have to cut promos.
Right.
So I get at the beginning, you script all their stuff for them, but once they've done it a lot, stop.
Yeah.
And for Mercedes, I think the switch was that someone like Danielson or Mox or like when Punk was here, they had been in situations where they had to cut non-scripted promos before in like Ring of Honor or in other companies.
Right.
They had that experience, or like Adam Cole, they just had to go back to, the stuff I did 5 years ago. Right. I'm just going to do that again. But like she didn't have that experience really of cutting unscripted promos, so she kind of had to learn. And it's a weird process, I'm assuming.
And imagine how hard that would be to learn on national live television. Like it's not. And
especially because she didn't really have a storyline at first. Like once she got involved in the stuff with Willow, it started flowing a bit better. But at the beginning, it was just like the first promo was good, and then after that, what do you say? Other than I'm Mercedes. Like she didn't have a storyline. She had nothing to talk about really.
And that's what I was going to just ask you this. I had this in my notes. Do you think we're going to get a deep dive how I ended up here with Mercedes at some point?
I don't think if she's a heel, no, because I think that would get her over as a face. And if she's going to
that's true. That's true.
I think what she's going to go with now is just like, I'm rich and successful and a good wrestler, and I'm in movies and I'm in TV shows. And I'm like on red carpets and I'm at courtside at basketball games.
True.
And that's just going to be her thing. And that works.
Totally. Oh, she's so awesome. So are we gonna move on? Do you have anything else?
The stuff with Britt at the end was really fun.
Oh yeah. Geez, I almost forgot.
Now, was Britt there the whole time? I do remember seeing a Britt Baker Mercedes sign like earlier in the night. Was that her? Was she there the whole time?
I don't know.
Because
that's a good question. Because I remember the sign.
I do remember the sign being there like before the match. I don't know if someone else was holding it and they switched them out at a commercial break or something, or what. I have to go back and watch. Was Britt there for like the first half of the show? I don't know.
That would be awesome if she was. Yeah, but I can't answer that. It's a good question.
I love wrestling loopholes though. They're like, oh, we had Mercedes banned. We had Britt Baker banned from backstage, but we didn't have her banned from ringside. Like, why not? Like, what kind of weird ban is that? Where she's allowed in the building, just not in the backstage area, but she's allowed to no, if you're banned, you're just banned.
Right. Yeah.
But it's like wrestling logic. Oh no, I bought a ticket. I'm allowed. Like, no, they could also ban you from buying a ticket. Like, that's the thing that could happen.
Yeah. Yes, like most people would be like if you get thrown out of the building, you just don't walk back up to the ticket counter.
And buy another ticket. Buy
another one.
Nope. I bought another one. And walk back in.
Yeah. Oh,
but it is like wrestling logic, so I'm willing to believe it.
Yes, 100%. That was very well done. Because it was like obviously you knew that who it was going to be, but. Yeah. Like you said, was she there the whole time? Did she just pop up? Like it sometimes AEW will do something like that and they just really hit the nail on the head. And that one was done well. Like,
yeah, it was.
And it's just such an interesting feud that I didn't even think would be interesting until I saw it. If that makes any sense. Like on paper, like, oh yeah, that would be fun. But seeing it's like, okay, that's spectacular.
And they have a lot of places they can go. They can go from like, Britt being like, oh no, this was my company before you were here, so you don't get to just walk in and claim it to be yours. They could go from like a Mercedes being like, I'm more famous than you, and Britt being like, no, but I'm here for wrestling. You're here for fame. They could do that.
Right.
They could run a like WWE versus AEW sort of angle if they wanted to, though I don't think they should. But they have a lot of places they could take it. I think it'd be really fun.
Yeah, I agree. Do you think it lasts till like post All In, like, or do you think it ends at All In?
I don't know. I think it ends at All In, but I don't know. There's always the Jamie Hayter wild card. Jamie Hayter could show up in a couple of matches, and she might show up in this match. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, wow. I never thought of that. Oh, man.
Though I do think she's more likely to show up in the world title match, but I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, so much. Speaking of the world title match, what do you think of the name Glamorous Mariah May?
I like it. I thought Mariah May did a great job. I think I think people like got confused. I think the audience didn't know it was Mariah May.
I agree.
I feel like when she came out dressed as Toni Storm, I think people thought it was Toni Storm until she like started talking, and then they were confused. Like it was because the reaction was well, we're on the reaction. If your town is doing what in 2024,
that's in my notes.
They should never come back. Like that should be the punishment.
Yes.
If you're yelling what at someone in 2024, you're banned for like 5 years. We're not coming back to your town because get over yourselves. That's obnoxious and I hate it.
It's awful. Did you notice that she changed her timing so that she would throw them off? I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, it was, but it sucks that she has to do that.
Yes, I agree.
Because when you're telling like a kind of creepy, emotional story, you want to be able to pause in between words.
Yes.
And the fact that they kept yelling what in between words made her have to change her, and it sucks. Like and it's a good storyline. Like I hate the whats. I hate them. But I get if it's like someone who's annoying and boring and you hate them and you don't want them on TV. And
so we can watch Jericho.
Yes, you can watch Jericho.
Okay, that's the exception.
Like that's your way of telling them they're boring or you don't care what they have to say, right? But like this was like the best part of Dynamite last week, and she came out to explain herself, and the crowd was obnoxious, and I was like actually angry.
Oh, I was livid. I was telling them to shut up, and it was a scene in my living room.
Because her explanation was good. Like, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I kind of expected a more detailed explanation, but like her explanation was good. Like, you always kind of expected this, and I did it at the best possible time. Like, I love that she dressed like timeless Tony Storm, because the whole story was she's taking her spot. So first she was going to be old Tony Storm, and now that she took her out, now she's new Tony Storm. Like, she took her role, which I thought was really good.
Yeah.
But the crowd was pissing me off the whole time, that it kind of took away from it for me.
Now, do we get old Tony? Did they do a total role reversal?
Yeah, I was wondering. I don't know what Tony Storm's going to be when she comes back. If she's going to be, because she can't be like campy Tony Storm, because it's too serious now. She can't come back and be silly, because it's like she got stabbed in the face, right? So she's not going to be like
right.
But I don't know what they're going to do. Is she going to go back to old Tony? Is she going to be like I kind of want, like we said last week, I kind of want like a deranged timeless Tony Storm, where now she's like off the handle.
That would be awesome.
She's not just like confused. She's like, I don't know, kind of psycho. Like, that would be fun.
Oh, like make her kind of like mankind-ish.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Oh, that would be awesome. Oh, man. And
then have Mariah May be kind of like the calm, cool, collected, like evil one, like just being like, oh yeah, yep, I did this to you. Like, I punished you, and like, now look what happened to you. She's just like calm and cool about it, and Tony Storm's like seething.
Oh,
that'd be fun.
This has been the greatest storyline in a long time. Like,
I think that's why I was so mad at the what thing, because it's been really good.
Agreed.
So like, what are you doing? Like, what stuff you don't like? Not this. Like, that's obnoxious.
Yeah, totally obnoxious. Our main events: champion versus champion, Swerve versus Okada. I just want to give a shout out to the people with the Okada signs, the funny Okada signs. If you're listening, they were all gold.
Oh yeah, they kept changing them.
Yes.
They kept changing them too, which made it even better.
My favorite one was Okada's email, gmail@okada.com. that one was great.
Yeah. It was fun.
Okada, what was the one? He could hear Braille. Is that what it was? Or he could speak Braille?
Yeah, I forget what they all were, but they were funny.
They were great. Okada being smitten was incredible.
Yeah.
What
do you think of funny Okada?
I was just gonna say, funny Okada is amazing.
I didn't think that there would ever be a funny Okada, because in Japan he seems so serious.
Right.
But it's funny. It's working.
It's let him be him. If he has this in his natural personality, imagine him playing the straight down the middle, like, I don't celebrate, I'm so proud. You know what I mean?
Right.
And inside he's just like telling jokes to himself to keep.
I mean, it makes sense because he's friends with the Young Bucks, who are like jokesters. So it would make sense that he's kind of a funny guy behind the scenes as well. So it's cool that he gets to do it on camera.
I think it was before the first Forbidden Door. He had just flown in, and like he was on a Dynamite before Forbidden Door, and like the Jacksons went to go get ready, and Matt got ready, and like Nick couldn't find his gear. And
wasn't he always wearing their stuff for a while?
Yeah, Okada was just sitting in a chair in Nick's gear. Like,
on that note, before we go too far and before we forget, I want to say slightly off topic, but involving the Elite. I really liked Jack Perry's promo backstage where he beat up Brandon Cutler.
That was awesome.
I thought it was good. I thought it was. I like you think I care about this guy? I don't care. And like, I like that it added like a new crazy dimension to him, which I like. It reminds me of the first Tim Burton Batman movie where the Joker has his assistant Bob, and like things are going badly, so he just like shoots him.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for a movie that's 35 years old. But it reminded me of that. Like, I'm so crazy that I'm just gonna take out my own guy. I don't care. Like, it added like an edge to him. I liked it. Yeah,
he's so good. Like, he's not going to have the TNT title long. You put him right. You get him in that main event soon, right?
Unless they try to elevate the TNT title, unless they use him to like make the
title. Oh, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, I really do think when he was first a heel, after he turned heel on Hook, it felt kind of like it was good, but it felt kind of awkward. I think him going to Japan and getting to try some stuff out, I think that worked really well for him.
And in Japan, like you learn, like if you watch Lance Archer can tell you a whole story on his way to the ring just by the way he stomps his feet and yells. Like you learn to over animate,
but not seem like cheesy about it.
But that's always but not be like Hulk Hogan. You know, like it's the Japanese way. And not knowing the language too, you know. Like
and they take it so seriously that you can't make it a joke. You have to make it serious.
That's what I was just gonna say. Yeah, if you're out, well, unless you're being a comedy wrestler, then they respect that too.
Right. Yeah. Now, do you think on that note, should AEW, with a lot of these people we're talking about who aren't being used, should they like encourage them to go to Japan?
Yeah, 1,000%.
I would think so. And then especially because not only would it help the wrestlers, but like there is this feeling, and it's slightly justified, that this forbidden door has kind of benefited AEW more than New Japan, right? Because Will Ospreay left and Okada left, and it kind of seems like, oh, AEW is just taking their people. What's New Japan getting out of this? Even though they're getting publicity,
right?
It would help them to be like, okay, yeah, you can have, you know, people we're not using, fine. Like, why don't we put, you know, Sammy Guevara there or something, right? Like someone who's not being used in AEW. Why not encourage them? Obviously not send them there. You can't force someone to go to Japan.
Right.
But just encourage them like, oh yeah, you know, New Japan has a role for you. You can go there for 3 months or however, and then come back. That would be cool.
Yeah. And like that opens the door too for, you know, again, not that, you know, someone would win it, but like bringing titles over there. You know, I know Mox kind of it, but you know, like you said, you know, send the TNT championship.
Right.
Well, I don't know how after I said that, I was like, I don't know how the network would feel about that, but
yeah, I feel like it would have to be like the international title or something would have to go there. Yeah.
Yeah. Send the international title over there for 3 months, you know?
And people would get to build new gimmicks or new characters or try new stuff out. And like, I'm not meaning to say this in a bad way that no one watches New Japan, because obviously people do.
Right.
But like the AEW audience, the people watching Dynamite may not be watching New Japan on a regular basis. So if you go to Japan and you try something and it's not good and you're not good at it, you could just drop that thing and come back. And like,
then you have
most people wouldn't know that you tried something new.
Right.
Like the internet would know, but like most people wouldn't know. So, and then if it worked, just come back and be like, it's an explanation for why you're different. Oh yeah, he spent 6 months in Japan. He got his personality changed. Like you could explain that away.
Yeah. I'm going to propose a question to you here. Do you think down the line here in the future, do you think Swerve goes down as the best AEW signing ever? Like in the future?
Yeah, I think maybe. Because I think right now it's probably Bryan Danielson.
Right.
But I think maybe because I think he could, like, Danielson is near the end of his career. Even when they signed him, he was near the end of his career. Whereas Swerve has, how old is Swerve? Like 30, early 30s?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he has like 10 more years at least. Right. So he could be the face of AEW for another 10 years. So yeah, I think he might be.
I went from like, I think I knew of Swerve, we'll say, when he was in, what was it called? Hit Row?
Hit Row. Yeah.
Hit Row. Okay. But like, I didn't realize that he wasn't like the whole show. Like how he wasn't the whole, that I said that backwards. How he wasn't the whole show is beyond me. Like they should have pushed him to the moon, not put him in a group. Or those people should have been side characters.
It's weird that they put him in a group, but it wasn't like his group. You know how like when he was with the Mogul affiliate, was it Mogul Embassy? Mogul Embassy. Yeah. It was clearly his group. Like they were his backup. He was the star. But like at Hit Row, it was kind of like they're just a group of all equals, which is weird because he's clearly a star.
Yes.
So if you're going to put him in the group, the other guys should be like his henchmen. They shouldn't be his equals. Like when he signed, I remember thinking, oh, I've heard of him. And then I thought like, oh, it's weird that they would announce him as like a big signing because like a lot of people just showed up on shows like Miro or Malachi Black or whoever just like showed up. So I'm like, oh, I'm surprised they didn't just have him show up like in a match. But now I get why they did a whole thing for him because he's a big deal.
Yeah. Yes. And oh, man, what a signing. What a match with Okada. Let's get back on the rails on that.
Yeah, it was a good match. It never really got where it could be, obviously, because it was that's not the purpose of the match. The purpose of the match
exactly
was to put on like a 5-star match.
Yeah, the purpose of the match
was to hype up next week.
Get to the end, yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a good match. Like they're obviously both great wrestlers, so it was a good match. I enjoyed it.
Just because we've talked about this a million times. Well, not this part, but Darby returns. We'll get there in a second. Again, me and you've talked about this. How did you feel about him coming out of the rafters?
I mean, I thought it was fine. First of all, they've said that they talked to Martha Hart about it.
Yeah.
So they don't even have to, but the fact that they did is very nice.
Correct.
And it's good. Like I think you should, if you're going to have a partnership with Martha Hart and you're going to have people coming down from the rafters, I think you should talk to her about it because obviously obvious reasons. Also, he was clearly more protected than WWE would have done or did because when he came down, first of all, he had a big vest on it, and then you saw Mark Briscoe was like messing with it to try to undo it, and then they cut away to the Bucks. Like you could tell, like someone from the team came over and like helped unstrap it because it was like a complicated thing.
It bothered me at first, and then like after the fact, same thing you said. Like I know they've talked to Martha and everything, and obviously the whole contraption was a legit contraption and everything. I just hope they don't do it all the time. Like I get why it's his return. Yeah. And obviously Sting did it for, when Sting did it was badass. I mean, let's just
you're right. My first thought was like not upset, but my first thought was Owen. Like that was my first thought.
Totally.
But like once I saw him come down and he's wearing a whole vest and he's like clearly strapped in very securely. Like I think they must have had multiple things on him because they did cut away from him. Yeah. Like you can tell like some staffers probably went over and like unattached 3 different cables or something. So they did it the right way. But you're right. I hope they don't do it all the time. But 2 Sting references in one show.
Yeah, that is true.
Britt Baker with the Sting mask and then this. I wonder if this is just like an ode to Sting or is Sting going to show up?
Oh, that would be sick if he was the authority figure.
Or something. Yeah. That'd be fun. All In's coming up. Maybe he'll show up for that. Just to do something.
That is true. Just to be there. Or...
Yeah.
Isn't Dustin and QT training his son?
Yeah, I think they are. Wasn't he sleeping in a tent outside Darby Allin's house?
Yes. Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, we said Darby returned. Yes. The Acclaimed and Darby are the mystery opponents for Blood and Guts.
And you're hitting really well. You predicted the Motor City Machine Guns, and then today they announced they're signing with WWE, or they're likely signing with WWE.
Too many people that are legit people on the internet that called signing said they have been signed for like 3 months. So I'm waiting this one out.
Yeah. It reminded me of the other time we were like, it's definitely going to be Johnny Gargano, and then like 100%. He immediately showed up in WWE. Now you're just like, I think it's going to be Motor City Machine Guns, and then like 3 days later, they're like, oh, I think they're going to WWE.
Yeah.
But it is weird. Even Sean Ross Sapp said that like they're not today. I think he said they're not signed with WWE, but they did some like send off on a show being like, this is our last indie show. And he knows they're not signed with AEW right now. So what does that mean? It couldn't mean anything. So I don't know. I mean, everyone said that Jay White was going to WWE too. So
true. And
I don't know.
Max was supposed to go.
But then Stephanie Vacour did. So I don't know what's going on. I don't think anyone really knows.
She made a lot of people mad. Ooh.
She did.
Myself included. But
I wasn't mad from like a AEW standpoint because like she doesn't owe AEW anything.
Oh, same here. I was mad at how she did business.
Yeah, I agree. But like when people were just like, oh, she's left, she did a trial match at AEW and then she signed with WWE. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Like that's
there ain't nothing wrong with that. No,
go for it. Not dropping the belt and not like doing her dates is kind of bad. I agree with that.
And that has to come from their end. I'm sorry.
It is weird though. Like I feel like it does have to come from their end, but it's weird because they've let people drop stuff before.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
Other times they've signed wrestlers that it was something weird, and I don't know what it was, but it was very strange.
Yeah, I agree. So going into Blood and Guts next week. Who do you think? Prediction time. Who do you think's got it?
I think it has to be Team AEW.
Okay.
Because the Elite won the other one, the Anarchy in the Arena match. So I feel like it has to be Team AEW unless someone's showing up and there's like a surprise return, like someone showing up and joining the Elite or something. Otherwise, I think it has to be Team AEW. That's just my thought.
Something big has to happen. Like, and the only reason I say this, and not that every show needs something big to happen, but Dynamite 250, great show, but I thought it needed a return. It needed, like, I mean, Darby had the return, obviously.
Yeah, it had the Darby return, but we kind of had the Darby return last week, right? He was there last week.
Yeah, like
so when they were brawling at the end, they're like, "There's one person, they're the one person short," and they, like, you knew it was Darby Allin. You were just waiting for his theme to start,
right? So, like, maybe at Blood and Guts, I don't. Like I said, I don't know if it's a return or something, but I have a feeling they're going to go a little more. They're going to give a little more fan service.
My thought was, I have no idea what his health situation is, but my thought was Kenny Omega.
And that would make sense. I don't like. It would just make me nervous if he was in a Blood and Guts match.
I don't think he'll do much. My thinking was he'll show up and he'll cost like Okada the match, and then they'll set up an Okada versus Omega match for some point in the future.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
like, not that he gets involved, not that he does a lot. Maybe he shows up and, like, hits him with a chair or something. Right. And then that's it. And maybe they set up. If they could do it, I don't know his health, but like Okada versus Omega at All In would be incredible.
That would be incredible. Oh,
I don't know if, like, I have no idea where he is health wise, if he can have a match anytime soon, but that would be really cool.
That would be. What a freaking time.
All In's gonna be great. But yeah, Blood Guts. Okay, well, I picked up the Elite. I picked AEW. Who do you pick?
I think it has to be AEW too, and the only reason, opposite of your reasoning makes more wrestling sense. I think this is gonna push Swerve. Like, Swerve is gonna be the uber baby face. Max is gonna be the uber heel. Yeah, Swerve's gonna have a little bit of gray area. But people were like, he's going to pull the team together.
Yeah, I think Swerve. Yeah, I could see that. I could see Swerve. Swerve has like a Stone Cold Steve Austin in 1997 feel to him.
Yeah,
where, like, he's done bad stuff, but everyone still loves him, and he just becomes the good guy who just does bad stuff sometimes. But like, the bad stuff is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's yes. Now Tony Khan buy a monster truck like did Frost. Now that would be sick. Yeah, you're right. I
think Swerve is gonna like pull, and I like, now that you mentioned Max being like the top heel and Swerve being the top face for a while, I like that they both have belts, and they're probably not gonna face each other right away because now they both have other stuff to do, right? Like, Swerve has his stuff with Danielson, MJF has his stuff with Ospreay. They both have titles, so they're not necessarily coming for one another yet. So you can hold that off for a while, and then when they do have a match, that'll be such a big deal.
Yeah. Oh.
I also really liked Hangman and Swerve didn't interact with each other.
Good point. I didn't even realize that.
Hangman came down and like was about to attack Swerve, and then Okada pulled him out of the ring, and they brawled off out of the way, and like Hangman didn't actually touch him. So they're saving that. That's saving that moment for Blood and Guts. Like, when they finally get in the ring with each other, I think they'll probably be the last member from each team.
Yeah, I think they're either going to start it or finish it. Definitely.
Yeah, and it'll be like, I hope they Blood and Guts is hard to shoot, and I remember last year they had Omega and Ibushi. It was like their reunion, and they kind of missed it when they both came into the ring. And like, I get it. Like, there's a lot going on, and there's 2 rings and a cage, and there's a bunch of guys. Like, I get that it's hard to, but I hope whenever Hangman and Swerve have their first, physical interaction with each other in a while, I hope that they make that, like, everyone else stops, and that's the thing that they focus on.
Yeah, definitely. I cannot wait.
Blood Guts is gonna be fun. It is hard to do. Like, it's a hard match. I can see why. Like, I love the match. I think it's great. I can see why WWE didn't want to do them for a long time.
Yeah.
Until AEW started doing them, and then like, hey, we're gonna do them too, conveniently. But it's hard to capture everything happening. There's 2 rings, there's cages. Like, it's hard to shoot a cage match generally because you have to shoot through the cage.
Right.
Like, I get it, but it's such a cool, fun match that
it is.
Is someone gonna do something insane and fall off the cage?
At this point, yeah. I mean, Blood and Guts has become, like, I hate to say AEW's Hell in the Cell, but it's basically what it is.
It's Darby, right? Darby's gonna fall off the cage.
I mean, that makes the most sense, but there's Mark Briscoe's also in this match. Don't forget that.
I could see Mark Briscoe falling off the cage, and then Darby would be like, fine, well, I'm gonna put a ladder on top of the cage, and I'm gonna fall off that. So there. That
would be incredible.
I want to do something crazier.
Like nobody on the Elite, like, I mean, I would probably cry if Okada went off the top, even though, like, when Sammy did it the one time, he literally landed on like a movie pad.
Yeah, like when Jericho fell off, it was clearly padding, which is fine. Like, I don't even mind that. I remember when Jericho fell off the cage, people were like, "Oh, it's clearly padding." Like, what would you prefer? They dropped him on concrete. Like, obviously, they're not going to do that.
Right.
He's not going to fall 10 feet onto a concrete floor. That's killing someone. Right? Like, you can't do that. So yeah, put down Pat. I don't care.
Yeah, like, like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, you're still falling off something that's 20 feet high. Like,
right.
You can fall on a pile of pillows.
Yeah, if there's like a bunch of mattresses and you fall, like, it's still, you're falling 15 feet down. Yeah, like, you could still get hurt. So like,
the match is always fun.
It is.
The other thing that bothers me is when people are like, they need to mount cameras on the cage. I was a proprietor of that at first.
Yeah,
I just think they would be too shaky. Like that.
Yeah, because I feel like every time you
right,
like, because they stop when they punch, right? So it would shake the ring. You're right.
And just the fact that, like, I mean, again, it's literally chaos. So if like someone's bumping in one ring, it might be vibrating the camera in the, like,
yeah, you're right.
So like,
what I would like to see them do
is there was some sort of,
like, with the Anarchy in the Arena match, I thought this too. Like, I would like to see them have it live and they shoot it as best they can, and then release it later as like a director's cut where they take the footage from all the cameras and they re-edit it.
Oh, and yeah.
So that you don't miss stuff. Like, maybe you did miss something live the first time because you were showing something else, but like recut it once it's happened, and you can change it.
That would be awesome.
Director's cut it. That would be fun.
Yeah, they should do that, especially like, well, the big rumor as we're recording this is the media rights deal went through because AEW stuff's showing up on Max and other countries.
And then a writer from the Washington Post, so like, it's an actual writer, it's not like a dirt sheet writer, said that the deal's basically done. They just have to like announce it.
Okay.
So,
which probably I wouldn't be surprised if that would be announced live on Collision tomorrow. This is Friday night one.
Or maybe they'll wait to Dynamite. Like, they'll announce it sometime on a show, I'm assuming. But
yeah.
I just love that, again, every time it's a major real story, like the Vince McMahon thing, or like this rights deal, or like WWE going to Netflix, it's not Sean Ross Sapp or Dave Meltzer breaking it. It's like an actual journalist.
Right.
Who
with
like
actual
has real
sources. Right.
Yeah.
Not
just going, maybe, I think, perhaps this could happen, but it might not.
But it might. Give me $10 and I'll tell you that it possibly might.
Not to go off on a tangent, but Brian Alvarez was on a podcast and he was talking about Ethan Page signing a rights deal for his name with WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about how, like, from now what I've heard is wrestlers will get to keep their names when they leave WWE. And people were like, oh, wow, that's a huge deal. What he meant was, if you already had that name before, when you sign your rights deal, like you only sign it while you work there, and then if you get fired or leave, it comes back to you.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Makes perfect sense.
But of course, what the internet took it to mean is like, oh no, if Roman Reigns leaves, he can be Roman Reigns. Like, no one ever said that. Like, right. Brian Alvarez just is bad at explaining himself. Like, that's the thing with Meltzer and Alvarez. They don't talk clearly. They just say like, oh yeah, he'll be able to keep his name when he leaves. That's not, but like, explain it better.
Right. Yeah.
They didn't mean absolutely everyone will be able to keep their names when they leave. Because like people were just like, oh, so could she be Sasha Banks again? No one said that. That's not what anybody said. Like, I don't know. I hate the wrestling media, but that's a whole other podcast, which we've already done. So
correct. Do you have any final thoughts other than wrestling media?
No, I think I'm excited. I'm happy with the rights deal because as much as I hate let's care what WWE trolls say about AEW, like it is kind of fun that like AEW has been quote unquote dying for 5 years and now they're going to get another TV deal. So that's kind of fun.
That is fun.
But like, yeah, if someone doesn't like the show that you like, just that's fine.
Yeah, we're in our mid 40s, so like I don't care if you like something that I like or not. I have real problems.
And my general idea, I think I've mentioned this before, everyone on the internet in my mind is 12 years old.
Yeah.
Because if you assume everyone on the internet is your age, you like get mad at them.
Yeah.
But if you assume they're all, young kids, then you're just like, whatever. And you don't care. So yeah, I'm not going to care. So the internet is like I agree that like the discourse on the internet around wrestling is stupid and annoying, but I try my best not to care. Like if you want to watch your show, go ahead. I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah. The internet's not even a real place. Like that's, people need to learn that.
Otherwise I'm excited. It's going to be fun. Blood and Guts is going to be good. And
100%.
then we're like deep into All In hype territory, which is going to be really fun.
Yeah.
All In's going to be, last year was kind of just cool to have a big stadium show.
Yeah.
Right. But so like, it didn't really matter what happened at All In. It was just cool to like have the big stadium show. But now like there's huge matches. There's Danielson and Swerve. There's Mariah May, Tony Storm. There's Britt Baker, Mercedes. Like there's like so many huge things that are going to happen at All In that it's going to be great. So I love Blood and Guts. The match is going to be super fun and I'm really excited for it, but I'm super excited for like the month between now and All In is going to be outstanding.
It's perfect word to use. It is going to be outstanding. I cannot wait. Don't forget next week, Blood and Guts. And next week I will not be here, but Rick will have the reins.
Hopefully it's not just me talking to myself for an hour because that would get real old.
I hope that's what it is. That'll be awesome. I'm on a secret assignment and you'll find out soon enough.
He's starting a Chris Jericho fan club.
I am.
That's the assignment is. Yep.
And the joke's on you. I'm already the president and we're 5 years in. So. So there's something floating around out there that y'all see pretty soon. So on that note, we'll all see you next week. Enjoy Blood and Guts and talk to you then. Later.